Hello, viewers, and thank you, Michael, from Scooby Reviews, bringing you a new podcast from my subject called The Project Red Review. And like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly, in case you can understand me. Also, I try to do my best not to preach about during the podcast recording as well, not to cause any RE feedback as well. Not to cause any RE feedback as well. And finally, if you're under 18, this RE podcast recording will attain to adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this RE podcast recording will attain to adult language if you're under 18. Now, if you're over 18, that means you have to watch this RE podcast recording. Now, with this everything else out the way, let's get into the latest episode of Gavin Infinity. So basically, we go back. It starts last week. We start also on Kiki and Kato's Earth, Kiki being Gavin Loomis and whatnot, and basically turns out that aboard their spaceship, Kiki has programmed her computer to detect any dimensional anomalies and whatnot, and basically her computer picked up a dimensional pick up a dimensional anomaly happening on her Earth, where her Kato and Gavin Infinity and the Phantom Beast took down those multiplying emote monsters, and basically turns out when so they went down to Earth and basically so basically they went back to the battlefield where they took down those multiple monsters by destroying that merc space and whatnot, and basically it seems like everything is, seems like there's no type of, everything looked okay until we see this new Gavin, appear, kind of teleport right in front of them, and basically, for a brief moment, Kiki and Keiko were startled by this new Gavin, and basically he said, ninja art, dimensional cross hop technique, and basically he disappeared, and he teleported away and disappeared, and basically Kiki. Kiki and Keiko are well, at least we know that there's another Gavin besides, death and infinity that can go to different dimensions and whatnot. So anyway, we cut to back on. So basically, we cut to back on Raisin's Earth, Gavin Infinity's Earth, Alpha, and basically we see that his boss Kel and the rest of the Gavin crew was at this old galaxy precinct somewhere on Earth, and basically turns out that Gavin was getting a new weapon unit for his spaceship and also for himself, called the Dornado, called the Gavatron Dornado. So basically it's a big, it's a blue dragon and whatnot. So basically, a big giant dragon for the spaceship, and a special dragon type sword gun weapon for Raisin and whatnot. So basically, Wasabi and Wasabi and Pat the Robot was there, and basically, at this point they know that, Raisin will be able to tell them that he's a Gavin and whatnot. So basically, Wasabi. So basically, besides Wasabi and Pat the Robot, nobody else lower in the Galaxy Police in Raisin's Earth knows that he's a Gavin and whatnot. So basically, I don't even know how they got into this facility in the first place. I presume they were stationed there to patrol it and whatnot. So anyway, Meanwhile, we go to Earth. We go to Earth. We go to we go to Earth Delta, and basically on a satellite on a galaxy satellite station, we see that Gavin who appeared from the Kiki and Kato is actually from Earth Delta, and he was talking to his boss. That I believe is now. I think it's now Drescher. I believe that's the name of his book. That's how you pronounce it. This so basically, we see the new Gavin's boss. We see the new Gavin's boss named Zetzer, and basically like So basically, you came back quick for your mission, Dry. Dry. Turned out this. It turns out this new Gavin is called Jirai. So basically, that's his space sheriff's name, Jirai. So basically, no, I accidentally teleported to a different Earth. So basically, remember your mission. So basically, director told him that at least your dimensional powers are working. Make sure dimensional powers are working, but you make sure that you go to the proper infiltrate. Make sure you go to Earth Alpha and infiltrate and see what's going on there, with that going on there and whatnot. So anyway, so basically, after Tariq built himself, he made himself invisible, and basically when he's invisible, he can walk through walls and stuff like that. And basically, when he got out of Justice office, we see another boss, we see another commander boss with this weird metal. Like this metal masquerade mask and whatnot, and basically he was talking so basically you remember your duty. You're going to Alpha to infiltrate and basically and basically bring back whatever that and entertain and bring back some goods from that dimension as well. So basically, the secondary boss is who's very shady is telling him that hey, don't come back empty-handed from just telling him that don't come back to Earth Alpha empty-handed. And basically, it seems like the way that Jirai was questioning his fish, he seemed like he didn't agree with his with his secondary boss, telling him not come back empty-handed, but seems like he doesn't have any choice. So basically, Jirai used the power of his remote gear, and the power of the satellite he was on to and basically do a dimensional jump to Earth Alpha where Dry is from and whatnot, and basically he was able to to jump to jump to Raisin's Earth on Earth Alpha. And anyway, we cut to basically we see Cessna, aka Gavan on his Earth, taking out a emote monster, and basically with his Gavan swords, and basically once the monster was destroyed, he transformed, and basically he felt something bad is about to happen. He felt something bad is about to happen. To Raisin on his Earth. So anyway, Raisin the gang was still at the vicinity where the dragon Dornado spaceship was being housed at and whatnot, and basically, we see Dry, showed up and basically put himself in stealth mode and went inside the facility to spy on it. But seems like Karen can sense that that Karen who is a dude who was also Raisin's boss and whatnot. Raisin and the other's boss. It's hey, I feel somebody's at the facility where you at. So basically, be on alert. So basically, at first, Raisin, Raisin didn't tell the others that, about somebody is infiltrated this facility. At first, he wanted to be sure, and basically, Jiraj, who was in stealth mode, started to take them down one by one. Was start to take down Raisin and the others one by one, and basically, lucky for Raisin, he can sense emote energy, but he was able to see Dry, and basically, with a little help from his comrades and a few emote gears, he was able to force Dry to de-transform, and basically, and basically figured that, we see Dry in his human form, we don't know Dry's real name at this point. So anyway, so basically, we know he has the remote gear of fear and whatnot. So basically, his remote gear represents fear. So anyway. So basically, so Raisin and the others asking so basically, Raisin and the others asking, what are you doing here? You're Gavin and whatnot, and basically, basically, well, I'm here to infiltrate, and basically, I'm here to infiltrate your facility, and basically, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So basically, So basically, Raisin and Jiraiya got into a fight, into a hand fight. Into a hand fight, and then got into like a 5-minute hand fight, and then that's when Raisin transformed into his Gavin form. And basically, this is the first time that Pat and Wasabi saw Raisin transform into a Gavin and whatnot right in front of him. So basically, right in front of them, this is the first time that Pat and Wasabi saw Raisin, transform into Gavin. So basically, Jiraiya transformed into his Gavin form again, and basically started to fight against fight against Raisin, and that's when he used his ninja ability to take the Dornado, his space unit, and take control of that space unit, and basically it seems like he was in control of the Dornado space unit, and basically it seems like he was going to take it back to his Earth and whatnot. So anyway. So Karis, summoned the Gavatron. So basically, he summoned the Gavatron, on the cosmic Gavatron ship to try to help out. But but Dry ended up using the Dragnado space unit. He took control of that ship and combined it with the Dornado, and basically he is about to make off. But lucky for Gavin, lucky for Raisin, there are multiple cosmic, there are multiple. They have a fleet of Cosmo Gavatron ships at the space station. So basically, carries another spaceship to help Raisin, to track that, to follow Jiraiya and whatnot. So basically, Jiraiya was trying to make away with the Dragnado and the spaceship and the Cosmo, with both the Dragnado unit and the Cosmo Gavatron ship as well. So basically, so lucky that Jiraiya had a backup spaceship that in hand, and basically he started to transform into robot mode, and basically Dry used the power of the tornado weapon unit and transform into spaceship mode with the cosmic Gavarion chip that he took with the power of the tornado, and basically it ended up having a mecha battle, having a brief mecha battle, and basically Jiraiya decided to use he tried to use a space jump to try to get an advantage, but the tornado, the tornado weapon unit was too powerful, and basically ended up destroying Raiden's second spaceship and whatnot. But so basically the tornado weapon unit was too powerful for Raiden's secondary spaceship that didn't have any weapon unit attached to it, and basically Jiraiya ended up destroying that spaceship. But Raiden being a clever dude, he managed to sneak aboard. He managed to sneak aboard. The ship that. He managed to stick aboard the ship and basically apprehend spaceship Jiraiya and whatnot, and basically you're under arrest for stealing you're under arrest for stealing a galaxy property and also trespassing. And basically, Jiraiya de-transformed and basically, and didn't say anything else. He just got caught and that was it. So anyway, after Jiraiya got caught back on the station, so meanwhile, some time later, back on the space station. Near Earth Alpha, basically, Wasabi and Pat the robot was was overwhelmed with that what went down today, and basically, and that's when Pat the robot said that I decided Wasabi, I wanted to be a Gavan, and this is how the episode ended with Wasabi, looking at Pat the robot with a blank face, and basically, Pat the robot said he wants to become a Gavan, just like Raiden, and basically this is how the episode ended on this note. So anyway, this was a good episode. So anyway, what do you guys think of the latest episode of Gavin? Good, bad, or just okay, or just nah? Please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, signing off for the reviews. 1,